This is Bill Wilder with Lifecycle Engineering, People First. When you have a performance shortfall, is training the answer? Perhaps, but not always. First, you have to ask yourself, why is this performance shortfall taking place? You cannot automatically assume that training is the answer. If you've got inventory backing up, or you're doing too much reactionary type work, it's automatically a planning and scheduling class, or a materials class, or some kind of a reliability class. Not necessarily. So the first thing you've got to ask yourself is, why is there a performance shortfall? And the starting point there is the individual, and whether or not that individual can do the job, and whether or not the individual wants to do the job. So let me illustrate. First of all, we ask ourselves, can the individual do the job? Do they have the ability, or the can do? Secondly, we ask ourselves, do they want to do the job? Do they want to, or have the attitude to do the job? Okay. So those are the two measures we want to look at the individual level. And ask ourselves, is it low or high? So let's call this low, call this high, low, high. And let's look at each of these and what the implications are in terms of whether or not training is the solution to your performance problem. Let's say they know how to do the job. You do some assessment, you observe them, you do some kind of a questionnaire, whatever assessment you do, but you determine that they definitely have the tools, they have the knowledge to do the job, but they don't want to do the job. No matter how much training you do is not going to make them do that job, because they already know how to do it. So you can train them all day long on how to do the job. What you've got is you've got some kind of a communications issue, some kind of a motivation issue. Okay? So let's call this motivation. If they can do it, and they want to do it, but they're not getting the job done, you've got some kind of a barrier. You've got something in the system, you've got something ingrained in the structure of the organization that's preventing this individual from being able to perform on the job. If they don't want to do the job, and they can't do the job, you've got an opportunity to reassign that individual, either to another seat on the bus, as they say, or somewhere else. But no matter how much training you do, if they don't want to do the job, they're not going to get the job done. So that leaves us with the last quadrant, which is they want to do the job, but they don't know how to do it. And that's when you send that individual to training. So the answer is, if you have a performance shortfall, first, look at the situation, look at the individual, do some form of an assessment, and we can share all kinds of ideas on how to do that. Determine, do they want to do it, and can they do it? That's when you make your decision on whether or not training is the solution to a performance shortfall. Bill Wilder, People First.